Day 165, Divided Kingdom, 1 Kings 15-16, 2 Chronicles 16-17, Song of Solomon 4, let's begin. 1 Kings 15-16. Then, in the 18th year of the reign of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, Abijam reigned over Judah. He reigned for 3 years in Jerusalem. The name of his mother was Maacah, the daughter of Abishalom. And he walked in all the sins of his father, which he had done before him. Neither was his heart perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of David, his father. But for the sake of David the Lord his God gave to him a lamp in Jerusalem, so that he might raise up his son after him, and so that he might establish Jerusalem. For David had done what was right in the eyes of the Lord, and he had not declined from all of the things that he had instructed to him, during all the days of his life, except the matter of Uriah, the Hittite. Now there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam during the entire time of his life. And the rest of the words of Abijam, and all that he did, were these not written in the book of the words of the days of the kings of Judah? And there was fighting between Abijam and Jeroboam. And Abijam slept with his fathers, and they buried him in the city of David. And Asa, his son, reigned in his place. Then, in the 20th year of Jeroboam, the king of Israel, Asa reigned as king of Judah. And he reigned for 41 years in Jerusalem. The name of his mother was Maacah, the daughter of Abishalom. And Asa did what was right before the sight of the Lord, just as his father David did. And he took away the effeminate from the land. And he purged all the filth of the idols, which his fathers had made. Moreover, he also removed his mother, Maacah, from being the leader in the sacrifices of Priapus, and in his sacred grove which she had consecrated. And he destroyed his grotto. And he shattered the very indecent idol, and he burned it at the torrent Kidron. But the high places he did not take away. Yet truly, the heart of Asa was perfect with the Lord during all his days. And he brought the things that his father had sanctified and vowed back to the house of the Lord, the silver, and the gold, and the vessels. Now there was war between Asa and Baasha, the king of Israel, during all their days. And Baasha, the king of Israel, ascended against Judah. And he built up Ramah, so that no one would be able to exit or enter from the side of Asa, the king of Judah. And so Asa took all the silver and the gold which had remained in the treasuries of the house of the Lord, and in the treasuries of the house of the king, and he gave it into the hands of his servants. And he sent them to Benhadad, the son of Tabrimmon, the son of Hezion, the king of Syria, who was living in Damascus, saying, There is a pact between me and you, and between my father and your father. For this reason, I have sent to you gifts of silver and of gold. And I ask you to go and break your pact with Baasha, the king of Israel, so that he may withdraw from me. Benhadad, acquiescing to King Asa, sent the leaders of his army against the cities of Israel. And they struck Ijon, and Dan, and Abel, the house of Maacah, and all of Chinneroth, that is, all the land of Naphtali. And when Baasha had heard this, he ceased from fortifying Ramah, and he returned to Tirzah. Then King Asa sent an announcement to all of Judah, saying, Let no one be excused. And they took away the stones from Ramah, and its timber, with which Baasha had fortified it. And from these things, King Asa built up Geba of Benjamin and Mizpah. Now all the rest of the words of Asa, and his entire strength, and all that he did, and the cities that he built, were these not written in the book of the words of the days of the kings of Judah? Yet truly, in the time of his old age, he was afflicted in his feet. And he slept with his fathers, and he was buried with them in the city of David, his father. And Jehoshaphat, his son, reigned in his place. Yet truly, Nadab, the son of Jeroboam, reigned over Israel, in the 2nd year of Asa, the king of Judah. And he reigned over Israel for 2 years. And he did what is evil in the sight of the Lord. And he walked in the ways of his father, and in his sins, by which he caused Israel to sin. Then Baasha, the son of Ahijah, from the house of Issachar, set an ambush against him, and he struck him down at Gibbethon, which is a city of the Philistines. For indeed Nadab and all of Israel were laying siege to Gibbethon. And so Baasha killed him in the 3rd year of Asa, the king of Judah, and he reigned in his place. And when he had reigned, he struck down the entire house of Jeroboam. He did not leave behind even one soul from his offspring, until he had wiped him away, in accord with the word of the Lord, which he had spoken by the hand of Ahijah, the Shilonite. Because of the sin of Jeroboam, which he had committed, and by which he had caused Israel to sin, and because of the offense by which he had provoked the Lord, the God of Israel. But the rest of the words of Nadab, and all that he did, were these not written in the book of the words of the days of the kings of Israel? And there was war between Asa and Baasha, the king of Israel, during all their days. In the 3rd year of Asa, the king of Judah, Baasha, the son of Ahijah, reigned over all of Israel, at Tirzah, for 24 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord. And he walked in the ways of Jeroboam, and in his sins, by which he caused Israel to sin. Then the word of the Lord came to Jehu, the son of Hanani, against Baasha, saying, Even though I exalted you from the dust, and I set you as ruler over my people Israel, still you have walked in the way of Jeroboam, and you have caused my people Israel to sin, so that you have provoked me by their sins. Behold, I will cut down the posterity of Baasha, and the posterity of his house. And I will make your house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. Whoever will have died of Baasha in the city, the dogs will consume him. And whoever will have died of him in the countryside, the birds of the air will consume him. Now the rest of the words of Baasha, and whatever he did, and his battles, were these not written in the book of the words of the days of the kings of Israel? Then Baasha slept with his fathers, and he was buried at Tirzah. And Elah, his son, reigned in his place. And when the word of the Lord had arrived by the hand of the prophet Jehu, the son of Hanani, against Baasha, and against his house, and against every evil that he had done before the Lord, so that he provoked him by the works of his hands, so that he became like the house of Jeroboam, for this reason he killed him, that is, the prophet Jehu, the son of Hanani. In the 26th year of Asa, the king of Judah, Elah, the son of Baasha, reigned over Israel, at Tirzah, for 2 years. And his servant Zimri, the commander of 1/2 part of the horsemen, rebelled against him. Now Elah was drinking at Tirzah, and he became inebriated in the house of Arza, the prefect of Tirzah. Then Zimri, rushing in, struck him and killed him, in the 27th year of Asa, the king of Judah. And he reigned in his place. And when he had reigned and had sat upon his throne, he struck down the entire house of Baasha. And he did not leave behind of them anything that urinates against a wall, among both close relatives and his friends. And so, Zimri destroyed the entire house of Baasha in accord with the word of the Lord, which he had spoken to Baasha, by the hand the prophet of Jehu. Because of all the sins of Baasha, and the sins of Elah, his son, who sinned and caused Israel to sin, provoking the Lord, the God of Israel, with their vanities. But the rest of the words of Elah, and all that he did, were these not written in the book of the words of the days of the kings of Israel? In the 27th year of Asa, the king of Judah, Zimri reigned for 7 days in Tirzah. For the army was besieging Gibbethon, a city of the Philistines. And when they had heard that Zimri had rebelled, and that he had killed the king, all of Israel made Omri as a king for themselves. He was the leader of the military over Israel in the encampment in that day. Therefore, Omri ascended, and all of Israel with him, from Gibbethon, and they besieged Tirzah. Then Zimri, seeing that the city was about to be taken, entered the palace, and he set fire to himself along with the royal house. And he died. In his sins, which he had sinned, doing evil before the Lord, and walking in the way of Jeroboam, and in his sin, by which he caused Israel to sin. But the rest of the words of Zimri, and of his treachery and tyranny, were these not written in the book of the words of the days of the kings of Israel? Then the people of Israel were divided into 2 parts. 1/2 part of the people followed Tibni, the son of Gineth, having appointed him as king, and 1/2 part followed Omri. But the people who were with Omri prevailed over the people who were following Tibni, the son of Gineth. And Tibni died, and Omri reigned. In the 31st year of Asa, the king of Judah, Omri reigned over Israel for 12 years. He reigned for 6 years at Tirzah. And he bought the mount of Samaria from Shemer for 2 talents of silver. And he built upon it, and he called the name of the city that he had built, Samaria, after the name of Shemer, the owner of the mount. But Omri did evil in the sight of the Lord, and he wrought wickedness, beyond all who had been before him. And he walked in all the ways of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and in his sins, by which he had caused Israel to sin, so that he provoked the Lord, the God of Israel, by their vanities. Now the rest of the words of Omri, and his battles that he carried out, were these not written in the book of the words of the days of the kings of Israel? And Omri slept with his fathers, and he was buried in Samaria. And Ahab, his son, reigned in his place. Truly, Ahab, the son of Omri, reigned over Israel in the 38th year of Asa, the king of Judah. And Ahab, the son of Omri, reigned over Israel at Samaria for 22 years. And Ahab, the son of Omri, did evil in the sight of the Lord beyond all who had been before him. And it was not enough for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. In addition, he took as a wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, the king of the Sidonians. And he went astray, and he served Baal, and adored him. And he set up an altar for Baal, in the temple of Baal, which he had built at Samaria. And he planted a sacred grove. And Ahab added to his works, provoking the Lord, the God of Israel, beyond all the kings of Israel who had been before him. In his days Hiel from Bethel built up Jericho. With Abram, his firstborn, he founded it, and with Segub, his youngest son, he set up its gates, in accord with the word of the Lord, which he had spoken by the hand of Joshua, the son of Nun. 2 Chronicles 16:17. Then, in the 36th year of his reign, Baasha, the king of Israel, ascended against Judah. And he encircled Ramah with a wall, so that no one could safely depart or enter from the kingdom of Asa. Therefore Asa brought forth silver and gold from the treasuries of the house of the Lord, and from the treasuries of the king. And he sent to Benhadad, the king of Syria, who was living in Damascus, saying, There is a pact between me and you. Also, my father and your father had an agreement. For this reason, I have sent silver and gold to you, so that you may break the pact that you have with Baasha, the king of Israel, and so that you may cause him to withdraw from me. And when he verified this, Benhadad sent the leaders of his armies to the cities of Israel. And they struck Ahian, and Dan, and Abel-maim, and all the walled cities of Naphtali. And when Baasha had heard of it, he ceased to build around Ramah, and he interrupted his work. Then King Asa took all of Judah, and they carried away from Ramah the stones and the wood that Baasha had prepared for the things to be built. And he built up Gibeah and Mizpah with them. In that time, the prophet Hanani went to Asa, the king of Judah, and he said to him, Because you have faith in the king of Syria, and not in the Lord your God, therefore the army of the king of Syria has escaped from your hand. Were not the Ethiopians and the Libyans much more numerous in chariots, and horsemen, and an exceedingly great multitude? Yet when you believed in the Lord, he delivered them into your hand. For the eyes of the Lord contemplate the entire earth, and offer fortitude to those who believe in him with a perfect heart. And so, you acted foolishly. And so, because of this, from the present time wars shall rise up against you. And Asa was angry against the seer, and he ordered him to be sent into prison. For indeed, he had been very indignant over this. And in that time, he put to death very many of the people. But the works of Asa, the first and the last, have been written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. And now Asa became ill, in the 39th year of his reign, with a very severe pain in his feet. And yet, in his infirmity, he did not seek the Lord. Instead, he trusted more in the skill of physicians. And he slept with his fathers. And he died in the 41st year of his reign. And they buried him in his own sepulchre, which he had made for himself in the city of David. And they placed him upon his bed, full of the aromatics and ointments of courtesans, which were composed with the skill of the perfumers. And they burned these over him with very great ostentation. Then Jehoshaphat, his son, reigned in his place. And he grew strong against Israel. And he appointed numbers of soldiers in all the cities of Judah that had been fortified with walls. And he placed garrisons in the land of Judah, and in the cities of Ephraim that his father Asa had seized. And the Lord was with Jehoshaphat, because he walked in the first ways of his father David. And he did not trust in the Baals, but in the God of his father. And he advanced in his precepts, and not according to the sins of Israel. And the Lord confirmed the kingdom in his hand. And all of Judah gave gifts to Jehoshaphat. And innumerable riches were brought to him, and much glory. And when his heart had taken courage because of the ways of the Lord, he now also took away the high places and the sacred groves from Judah. Then, in the 3rd year of his reign, he sent Benhail, and Obadiah, and Zechariah, and Nethanel, and Micaiah, from among his leaders, so that they might teach in the sites of Judah. And with them were the Levites Shemaiah and Nethaniah and Zebadiah, and also Asahel and Shemiramoth and Jehonathan, and the Levites Adonijah and Tobijah and Tobadonijah. And with them were the priests Elishama and Jehoram. And they were teaching the people in Judah, having with them the book of the law of the Lord. And they were traveling through all the cities of Judah, and were instructing the people. And so, the fear of the Lord fell upon all the kingdoms of the lands which were around Judah. And they did not dare to make war against Jehoshaphat. Moreover, the Philistines carried gifts to Jehoshaphat, and a tribute in silver. Also, the Arabians brought cattle, 7,700 rams, and the same number of he-goats. Therefore, Jehoshaphat increased and was magnified, even on high. And in Judah, he built houses in the likeness of towers, and walled cities. And he prepared many works in the cities of Judah. Also, there were men experienced in warfare in Jerusalem. And this is the number of them, by each of the houses and families. In Judah, the leader of the army was Adnah, the commander, and with him were 300,000 very experienced men. After him, Jehohanan was the leader, and with him were 280,000. Also after him, there was Amasiah, the son of Zichri, who was consecrated to the Lord, and with him were 200,000 strong men. Following him, there was Eliada, who was experienced in battle, and with him were 200,000, holding bow and shield. Then too, after him, there was Jehozabad, and with him were 180,000 lightly armed solders. All these were at the hand of the king, aside from the others, whom he had positioned in the walled cities, in all of Judah. Song of Solomon 4. How beautiful you are, my love, how beautiful you are! Your eyes are those of a dove, except for what is hidden within. Your hair is like flocks of goats, which ascend along the mountain of Gilead. Your teeth are like flocks of shorn sheep, which ascend from the washing, each one with its identical twin, and not one among them is barren. Your lips are like a scarlet ribbon, and your eloquence is sweetness. Like a piece of pomegranate, so are your cheeks, except for what is hidden within. Your neck is like the Tower of David, which was built with ramparts, 1,000 shields are hanging from it, all the armor of the strong. Your 2 breasts are like 2 young doves, twins that pasture among the lilies. Until the day rises and the shadows decline, I will go to the mountain of myrrh and to the hill of frankincense. You are totally beautiful, my love, and there is no blemishing you. Advance from Lebanon, my spouse, advance from Lebanon, advance. You shall be crowned at the head of Amana, near the summit of Senir and Hermon, by the dens of lions, by the mountains of leopards. You have wounded my heart, my sister, my spouse. You have wounded my heart with one look of your eyes, and with one lock of hair on your neck. How beautiful are your breasts, my sister, my spouse! Your breasts are more beautiful than wine, and the fragrance of your ointments is above all aromatic oils. Your lips, my spouse, are a dripping honeycomb, honey and milk are under your tongue. And the fragrance of your garments is like the odor of frankincense. An enclosed garden is my sister, my spouse, an enclosed garden, a sealed fountain. You send forth a paradise of pomegranates along with the fruits of the orchard, cypress grapes, with aromatic oil. Aromatic oil and saffron, sweet cane and cinnamon, with all the trees of Lebanon, myrrh and aloe, with all the best ointments. The fountain of the gardens is a well of living waters, which flow forcefully from Lebanon. Rise up, north wind, and advance, south wind. Send a breeze through my garden, and carry its aromatic scents.